We've received confirmation that indeed the Human Rights Council will be sitting on Friday to discuss the ongoing violence that has been occurring on the Gaza Strip. And of course, we've heard that around 60 people have been killed so far in the continuous standoff between the Israeli armed forces as well as the people of Palestine. But right now joined by South Africa's permanent representative to the United Nations here in Geneva, Mxakato-Diseko, to speak about this issue and the confirmation indeed that the Human Rights Council will be sitting to discuss this issue.
You're correct, Aldrin, that there will be a special session of the Human Rights Council on Friday morning to consider the deterioration of the human rights situation in the occupied territory of Palestine, which is how Palestine is referred to within the UN system. Procedurally, when you have a request from a group of countries to have a special session who are members of the Council, it must take place. It is hoped that out of that session, a resolution will be adopted calling for action in a variety of areas. This follows on the meeting of the Security Council that was held on Palestine but was not able to decide on any action because of a key member of the Security Council, a permanent member, blocked or vetoed, used the veto to block action.
And looking at some of the aspects that they've been looking into in what the outcomes of this resolution should be, what exactly is it that the Human Rights Council will be considering?
Well, the draft resolution, which is in circulation at the moment, focuses on accountability. There is a general acceptance globally that where human rights have been abused, people must be held accountable. So that is the direction I think the resolution is going into. The Human Rights Council works with special rapporteurs who are mandated to investigate individually certain areas, for example, on the rights of the child, on gender-based violence, on enforced disappearance and arbitrary killings and all of that. There is a possibility that the resolution may request all of the special rapporteurs to investigate what has been happening in the occupied territory of Palestine and report to the Human Rights Council with recommendations. There is also consideration of a commission of inquiry that will investigate in broad terms the abuses of human rights of the people of Palestine, as well as the blockade, the impact of the blockade. So the range of measures that are contained in the draft resolution would be comprehensive in relation to what is required and proportionate, I think, to the gravity of the situation. The resolution will be negotiated, of course, and will be carried by numbers. There's no veto. The veto is not applicable to the Human Rights Council. South Africa is a member of the Human Rights Council. We play a part. We will participate in the debate on the basis of our foreign policy and on the basis of the political discussions that are taking place at home, because that constitutes the basis of how we implement our foreign policy.
We actually saw earlier this week South Africa's immediate response is the recalling of the ambassador, for instance, and also the statement that was issued by Terko, where it said that the unveiling or the inauguration of the US Assembly was a provocation and led to what was unfolding at the Gaza Strip. I wonder, though, what will South Africa's approach be when the Human Rights Council sits and discusses this issue?
Well, South Africa's approach will be governed by principles. Fundamentally, South Africa believes in the right to self-determination. When we were under apartheid, people fought for us on the basis of the right to self-determination for black people in South Africa. We have a right to participate in the political processes of the country. We can't abandon that principle. If the issue of gender-based violence comes up in the same way that we respond to it back at home, it would be odd for South Africa not to respond to this. South Africa is a country that was founded on human rights, and so the basis of our foreign policy is the defense of human rights. And during the centenary of Mandela, which coincides with the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, South Africa would have to give guidance or explain its position in all of the areas that are going to be addressed in the resolution. But our basic starting point is the right to self-determination. You know, all of the instruments, the legal instruments on human rights, have the first clause. They begin with the same clause, Article 1A, that says everybody has the right to self-determination. And the reason why this right is common to all the instruments of the human rights system is the understanding that nobody can enjoy any rights without the right to self-determination. So we anticipated that this would happen in Palestine. The minute that a preemptive strike was taken or move was taken in relation to the two-state solution to relocate the embassy of the United States to where it is now. And the primary purpose of this meeting is to say where violations have been committed, those that are responsible must be held accountable as a result of the move.
Well, Ambassador, thank you so much for your time. Indeed, we'll be watching closely that meeting that will be taking place on Friday to see exactly what the outcomes of that meeting is. And President Cyril Ramaphosa, when he landed here in Geneva, also spoke about the killings that were happening in Gaza on that particular day, or rather the day before. And he was saying that as the world must be concerned in the manner in which these Palestinians were killed, and that's one of the reasons that they recalled the ambassador to Israel, our Israeli ambassador, and said that he must come back to come and explain exactly what the situation is in Israel and what has led to the standoff that took place earlier on this week, where we saw around 60 people being killed.